In the heart of a small village nestled among lush green fields, there lived a young man named Rohan. Known for his sharp mind and relentless drive, Rohan had always been a source of pride for his parents. His father, Mr. Sharma, was a humble farmer, and his mother, Mrs. Sharma, was a dedicated homemaker. They had worked hard all their lives, sacrificing their comforts so that Rohan could receive a good education and have opportunities they never had. Rohan's parents were simple people with simple desires. They found joy in the little things, working in their fields, tending to their home, and spending time with their son. As Rohan grew older and more successful, he began to drift away from these simple pleasures. His ambitions led him to the bustling city, where he secured a high-paying job and moved into a modern apartment. He visited his parents occasionally, but those visits became less frequent as his career demanded more of his time. One day, Rohan received an invitation to a prestigious event in the city. It was an awards ceremony honoring young achievers, and Rohan was to be one of the recipients. Thrilled at the prospect of mingling with influential people, Rohan quickly began preparing for the event. A few days before the ceremony, Rohan's father called him. "Beta," his father said in his gentle, weathered voice, "I heard about the big event you're attending. I'm so proud of you. I've always wanted to see the city, to see the life you've built there. Could you take me with you?" Rohan hesitated. The thought of taking his father to such a high-profile event made him uneasy. His father, with his simple clothes and rustic ways, didn't seem to fit the sophisticated image Rohan had cultivated in the city. "Dad," Rohan replied, trying to sound as kind as possible, "this event is very formal, and it might be a bit overwhelming for you. I think it's better if I go alone this time. Maybe we can plan a visit to the city later." There was a pause on the other end of the line, long enough for Rohan to feel a pang of guilt. But his father's voice remained calm as he said, "Of course, son. You know best. Take care and make us proud." The day of the event arrived, and Rohan dazzled in his suit and tie, receiving accolades and making valuable connections. Yet, as the night wore on, he found himself unable to fully enjoy the festivities. The image of his father's hopeful face kept creeping into his mind, and he couldn't shake the feeling that he had let his parents down. Weeks passed, and Rohan immersed himself in his work, trying to ignore the gnawing guilt. He rarely called home and visited even less. His mother, who had always been understanding, started to worry. She missed her son terribly but didn't want to burden him with her feelings. She knew how much Rohan's career meant to him. Then, one evening, Rohan received a call that changed everything. It was his mother, and her voice trembled with fear. "Rohan," she said, struggling to keep her composure, "your father is very sick. The doctor says it's serious. Please come home as soon as you can." Rohan's heart sank. He immediately booked the next available train and made his way back to the village. Memories of his father's sacrifices flashed through his mind, the countless times his father had gone without so that Rohan could have what he needed, the late nights spent helping him with his studies, the unwavering support his father had given him, even when he had made mistakes. When Rohan arrived at his childhood home, he was met with the sight of his father lying in bed, frail and weak. The man who had always been a symbol of strength and resilience now seemed so small and fragile. "Dad," Rohan whispered, kneeling beside the bed, tears welling up in his eyes. "I'm so sorry. I should have spent more time with you. I should have taken you to the city when you asked." His father, with great effort, opened his eyes and looked at Rohan. Despite his condition, there was a gentle smile on his lips. "Son," he said softly, his voice barely audible, "life has a way of teaching us what's truly important. I'm proud of the man you've become, but never forget the roots that have helped you grow." Rohan nodded, his heart heavy with regret and love. "I promise, Dad. I'll never take you or Mom for granted again." Rohan stayed by his father's side, holding his hand, feeling the warmth of the man who had given him everything. As the night wore on, his father passed away peacefully, surrounded by the love of his family. After his father's passing, Rohan made a conscious effort to change his ways. He visited his mother regularly, making sure she never felt alone or neglected. He also took her to the city, showing her all the places she had only heard about. Rohan realized that success and wealth were meaningless without the love and support of the people who had sacrificed so much for him.